Father God, we thank you and we give your name praise and we give your name honor and glory. As we come together tonight, God, we ask that our minds to be on one accord, God, to get a job done concerning the county and the community, God. We ask that you cover those that's in law enforcement, God, and cover those that's in harm's way, God. We ask that you protect them and shield them in Jesus' name. We pray, amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
This is a regular meeting of the Hendry County Board of County Commissioners being held on Tuesday, February 27th, 2018 at 5 p.m. in the County Commission Chambers in LaBelle, Florida. In attendance are Chairman Mitchell Wills, Vice Chair Emma Bird, Commissioner Darrell Harris, Commissioner Michael Swindle, Commissioner Carson Turner, County Administrator Charles Chapman, County Attorney Mark Lapp, Deputy Clerk Anita Bichelle.
I'd like to remind everyone, if you would like to speak tonight, there should be some forms in the back. If you would get that and fill it out, please, and get it up front here. That way, when we come to that portion, you will be all set to go. First thing on tonight is under bids, ITB 2018-04, delinquent real estate and personal property tax.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
is Pat Langford here?
No, sir.
Is this, Mark, is this all just Mr. Langford?
Yes.
Okay, and so Mr. Langford's good with what was presented. He has no qualms, so to speak.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Move to accept.
Which option? One or two? Hendry Glades or Clueston News?
One.
Okay, he moves to accept item number one. I second that motion.
Got a motion by Commissioner Harris to approve option 2, seconded by Commissioner.
Wait.
Option number one.
One, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Say
sir.
2. Sorry about that. Option 1, seconded by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On the consent agenda, we are pulling D1.
Motion to approve the balance, Mr. Chair?
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Turner, seconded by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Nothing under awards and appearances today. We have public hearings.
Are we going to readdress
Wait a minute,
D1, or was there a
D1, I'm
reason
sorry.
D1,
or do we need to address it now? Or is
high
there-
dive, you're
Yeah.
talking about, yeah. That's being pulled at AIA's attorney's request.
Oh, okay.
And hopefully it'll be ready next meeting, hopefully,
Okay.
but they asked for it to be pulled from this
Okay.
meeting.
All right, thank you.
Any further questions on that?
Nope.
No? Okay, under public hearings, we have amendments to the background and screening ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This is a cleanup from a 2005 ordinance that has been on our books and honestly has not been implemented. It basically requires fingerprinting of most county positions, which, we looked into it, we found that, that's just not necessary. So it scales it back quite a bit from what is required so that it's a lesser group, and then we'll start doing it. So that's basically what it's about.
What group wouldn't you fingerprint?
Well, it'd be,
We have people in facilities, the ones that was in the courthouse and different buildings of that.
Do you fingerprint custodians?
yes, custodian, because all custodians potentially serve the courthouse.
Right.
So yes, utilities employees, airport employees, there's only one, but, or two if you count Shane, any employees that access the sheriff's office, and that would be the custodian's maintenance. EMS, emergency management, parks and recreation, because of being around kids, libraries, because of being around kids, IT, because of the potential to cause great havoc if they're got some background.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve option number one, and if Mark wants to continue to give us details, by all means, but do that and allow the public hearing to occur.
Okay.
Public.
A motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Harris. This being a meeting of the public, is there anyone in the public who would like to address this? Seeing none. Is there any further discussion on the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Seeing their correspondence for FYI, I know Mr. Parker's on vacation, didn't he? Did anyone have anything on that they wanted to share? He needs a vacation, for sure.
I know Miss Simlich is recovering from her long vacation still, but we were working on some aggressive code enforcement data banks with some overlays and being able to watch. Are we still working on that and getting that moving?
We're getting that imported into the GIS system. We're going through the QA/QC position of that data right now to be able to look at going to print sometime very soon.
Good.
But all of those files have been inputted into the GIS system, and we're just trying to get it all to play nice, well together in the virtual
Okay.
coding world. So
We might can see that next month.
that's my hope, sir.
Good. Thank you.
I saw quite a few on the report here that we were working on, and we got other things as well. By district here, you see they've got quite a few cases active. Is that starting to move along a little better, Ms. Simlich, or are we still? Are our cases starting to move along a little better since we've changed things around a little bit? Or are we still having a bunch of people that's non-compliant and just don't want to comply, or? I know in the past we've had a lot of issues with that, so I'm just wondering how we're doing on it, that's all.
Well, the reports that I've seen recently is that they're closing as many as they're opening at this point. So they're having more success with closing and not keeping certain the cases lingering. And my understanding is we plan on coming back to you with another report, Charles, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a follow-up to the 5 for 5 for the districts like was done last year. And I will schedule that either next month and along with that overlay that we were just talking about. And I keep looking at Charles because, I am
What Ms. Simlich is referring to is we're going to give you hopefully the closing rate on the 25 that we workshopped back in 2017, and we would like to give you another 25 to review to give you some examples of how the changes to the ordinances are being implemented, what's our closure rate, what are some of the impacts that we're seeing, what are some of the negative aspects of it, like time delays, or are we getting support from the judiciary, et cetera, and just highlight the different positives and negatives that are going on within the code enforcement realm and just keep you up to date a little bit more so than the last round.
Right. And just to add one more thing, we do have some amendments to the Code of Ordinances on certain sections regarding code enforcement that will be coming, I think it's the end of this month. I'm sorry.
End of March.
End of March, yes. So it may coincide with the other presentations, so.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. It's good to have you back.
Thank you.
That was what was in my inbox.
It's going to take us down to staff reports. Mr. Chapman.
I have nothing under my section tonight. It looks like it's pretty heavy for the county attorney this evening.
All right, Mr. Lapp.
Right, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. First item is a purchase of a parcel in Montura in this cluster that we're trying to assemble for.
I move option 1.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Swindle, second by Commissioner Turner for option 1. Any further discussion?
Yeah, is it possible, I don't know, there's a GIS map that already exists, but if we could just see kind of our game plan moving forward on that, I would love to see what our thoughts are. I think this is a
GIS
really good idea, though.
That may be something Stephen can pull together for us down there. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is the ratification of the extensions of state of emergency.
So moved.
We've got two, the 24th, and then the 25th was issued last Friday.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Turner, second by Commissioner Swindle. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You have number 3 on your agenda for me, the purchase and sale agreement with Everglades International Airport. Not in your packets, but we sent supplemental information
Yep.
about
Yep.
that. So you've been provided with the latest version of the purchase and sale agreement with Everglades International Airport LLC. I have a memo that I sent you that included kind of the highlights and issues surrounding it. There's also a letter, proposed letter that AIA has submitted.
I make a motion to approve the ratified agreement and the letter associated with what Mark has sent out to us.
Second.
Just to be clear for the motion, that would be option number 1.
Yes, sir.
As revised by me, sent out with an email yesterday. I copied the clerk on it, so they have the wording, but it's option 1. Should I read it just for the record?
We
Or
can.
okay. Just for clarity? or-
I'm good, Mr. Chair.
You're good? Okay.
Got a motion by Commissioner Turner for us to approve option 1, second by Commissioner Harris. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're moving to hearing of the public. We got one speaker card, Mr. Finer.
Are we there already? Okay.
We're there already. Yeah.
Fool around.
You've got the rest of the evening, sir.
Oh, geez, no, we don't want that much time. I just wanted to let you guys know, I know I came to the Board of County Commissioners a couple months ago and said we were wanting to try and continue with the contract. We had to terminate our contract with Central Florida Behavioral Health Network effective March 9th. But we are hoping that this will be better for the community. We were unable to continue, Sheila and I, for reasons that we'll kind of just keep under the carpet for now. But we are going to be maintaining in the community with our doctors and our ARMPs, and we're going to continue to do Medicare and Medicaid and private insurance companies. We have our Medicare provider number now, and that we're here to support the new people that are coming in, which is CPE. The Center for Progressive Excellence, I think, is taking over the contract. And so we're looking forward to working with them and being a support to them, but we want to remain in the community. And so just want to let you guys know, and all your support is always appreciated. We are in the building. We're not sure if we're going to need to leave the building yet, but if we, any support that the county can give us to maintain our services here, we have a lot of Medicaid, folks that need mental health care and substance abuse treatment. So we're still going to remain quite busy. So, and that's what we're looking forward to. So I just want to let you guys know that tonight. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have any questions for Mr. Finer? Is there any other members of the public that wish to speak? Okay. Reports and other business. We're going to move to business by district. Commissioner Swindle.
I'm none. Thank you.
Nothing.
Nothing.
You guys must be in a hurry tonight.
No, I'm not.
Ms.
Good
Byrd?
to go.
Everything's going good, and
I would
Yeah.
like to direct the board, with the board's approval, to acknowledge Douglas School, that we would send something to show our sorrow for their loss, and I just need direction from the board to do that.
can you do that, Charles?
Make sure I'm clear, this would be some sort of letter of support or condolences to the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School from the board with the chairman's authorized signature for staff to prepare that and to get with the chair for execution. Is that correct?
The other thing I need to bring to the board attention, the Harlem Gym, which is named after James Hart. The family asked that if something was to happen to the building, and I'm not sure if we could do that they keep that name. So I need to present it to Mark to see if we can do that. I'm not sure if legally we can do that, but they want to know if something was to happen to the building that got tore down, that name was still
okay.
staying.
Yeah, I think they can do that.
Well, the policy does not contemplate naming in perpetuity. And the entire purpose of the policy was to name, and then it had a provision for actually changing the name, but there was nothing in there that says that once it's named, it's remained that name forever. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a name section to even address a renaming procedure. So this would really be at the direction of the board. Do you want to have that policy decision of making a name of a facility in perpetuity? Do you want to have the option to remove it at any point in time? If there is criteria for naming in perpetuity, what is that criteria, et cetera? So if it's the will of the board to pursue that option, then staff will definitely bring you back some options for revisions to that policy moving forward.
Is the building still in good shape?
Yes, that's the Harlem Gym.
Yeah, I thought it's still in good shape.
It's still in good
I
shape.
think it'll be there forever.
But if by chance it's not, we want to make sure that it's still named after James Hart.
So Ms. Byrd, I think you're saying, like, let's say Hurricane Irma would have whacked it, knocked it down. We get insurance money, we rebuild the building. We don't want to now call it the Emma Byrd Building. We want to still continue it with the James Hart Building. I agree with that. I think that we should address that language, find some way to tweak that, bearing in mind, and let me be really clear, I am in no way, shape, or form insinuating anything here. But I always think about how weird it must be at Penn State University to have so much to what a man meant to a program, and he is literally all over that campus, and then he goes from the penthouse to the outhouse overnight. And so I just want to make sure that, there is a mechanism in place that if, Carson Turner were so honored to have something named after him one day, and then I become a habitual DUI offender, I don't think that's deserving of somebody having a building named after them. And if this board is offended by that, then they need to have the ability to snatch that name off that building, because you're a crackhead, So that's where I'm at. So, Ms. Bird, you got me right,
Lord Jesus.
and I understand where you're driving at. I just made Commissioner Wills, for the record, say "Lord Jesus" publicly. So.
You did, brother. I'm drinking some out to spit it out. Mr. Harris,
I'm gonna pass.
you're going to pass. Mr. Turner.
I believe that our county administrator, along with the county administrator of Glades County, is meeting with the Community Foundation of Southwest Florida this week sometime.
Thursday.
Wonderful. I hope that you guys will be able to have a forward-moving conversation that allows for more dollars to be found. Is Joe Paterno going to be in that meeting? Yes, sir. Good. I hope that we're able to try to find a way to slay that beast of the Glades Hendry Training Facility becoming an entity that is known and has bodies going through it so that they can become trained and, are meeting the needs of our region. That being said, I still want to echo that I hope that it's someone that is on a part-time basis as the director and a full-time person that's there answering the phone, answering emails, facilitating the day-to-day activities, so that it's not an exorbitant amount of money, making sure that everyone is well aware of what Commissioner Swindle said, which is we need to be mindful that that facility has to aggressively be moving towards a Department of Education funding source. Correct, Commissioner Swindle?
Absolutely.
Or it's not going to exist. I mean, we can have all the money in the world, but it needs to be in the proper channels where it's being fed from. I will once again continue to echo that. I think that we need to be asking for a minimum of $500,000 recurring funding every year on behalf of the Glades Hendry Training Facility, and I think that we need to start that process yesterday, not tomorrow. Not with regards to lobbying, but with having someone that's in place that understands that world and can start educating people so that we justify the existence and we justify the footprint of that square footage and the dollars and cents that are being spent and have been spent.
During the negotiation, it should be reoccurring, because you don't want just a one-year deal.
1 year is just gonna prime a pump and then allow it. Yes, sir, absolutely. Then the only other thing that I wanted to bring up tonight was I've met a fair amount of constituents that are frustrated with the overall appearance of Ridge Lawn Cemetery. I know that staff has been receiving quotes. You're trying desperately to do something to make it more aesthetically pleasing. I would like for us to consider, as we tweak that cemetery to make it more aesthetically pleasing, that we don't necessarily consider going back with like for like. If there is a better alternative to make it look nice, I would like for us to exercise those options. If you want to bring something back before the entire board, or if staff wants to just give some renderings to us individually, I don't know how that process is going to play out from a financial standpoint. And I would like for us to also reach out to the city of Clewiston to make sure that that is a corridor that they're proud of as well. And then this is something that I think I am stunned by how much misinformation there is about the cemetery with regards to the piece that lays over the gravesite, the massive marble piece. I don't know what that's called. Anybody?
Slate.
The slate. A lot of people tell me that we should send our staff out there to straighten that out, or our staff to go into where the perimeter is within a plot to weed and so on and so forth. And I just think that we need to try to clarify that as much as possible, and let people know what is their responsibility, what is our responsibility, and obviously some of the bigger eyesores that are associated with the cemetery right now are our responsibility. So I would like for us to try to expeditiously address those items as much as possible.
Is that most of the trees?
Yes, sir, it's mostly the older cedar trees that are that perimeter that separates the view of just being an open view from Highway 27. They just got knocked over from Irma, but prior to the storm, I mean, the ditch was always high. There are some invasives that are running through those cedar trees, and they're older and tired. So I think that we ought to try to address it.
So would that be out of the question for FEMA, since the hurricane did it? Jennifer?
I don't necessarily think it would be out of the question, but I'm not sure if we've asked all of those particular aspects. I know we've talked about the damage that we've incurred with FEMA, and we're trying to get assurances that we'll be reimbursed. But I think we need to assume that we're going to bear the brunt of the expense up front on this.
So that, Jennifer, the question was, could that come under FEMA, since
We requested,
You
we got
did?
a quote, we requested the dollars. I've also talked to our insurance because there are some plantings covered, but they haven't got back with us yet. So we're looking to try to do it a little bit more equitable. And from what Commissioner Carson Turner said, the like for like, I like that because in my mind, I'm thinking it's just going to happen again if there's some other kind of planting that might be a little bit more, durable, that looks
Good.
a little more pleasing to the eye when you come in. I like that. But right now, we're looking at road and bridge to remove them. And then we can talk about or workshop or bring up item before you if you would like with some options going forward of what you would like to see planted there before we move forward with that portion. That's okay.
Yeah, moving forward that just a little bit, the trees, not only now are they a problem, but throughout the years, the issues we've had, they've grown so big at the base, they're covering up lots of people that actually own the lots. So sometimes we'd go out to find a lot, it would be underneath the tree, it would be covered. So really, the trees do need to be either something that goes up rather than out, or maybe some kind of, some kind of decorative fencing or something that would look nice. The stone that they have is an issue too, because it's real hard to clean that. You can pressure wash it and it still looks, doesn't look clean. So we've dealt with that for years as well. On the slates and different stuff, we just don't have the equipment, to be honest with you. We've been asked that many times. It's the headstones and the slates. And at most times when the funeral companies are there, if we have issues, they'll help us out and they'll just straighten them out while they're there. Insurance-wise, that'd be a nightmare for us and a huge liability messing with some of that. Some of those are older in there, and they're very brittle.
Yeah.
I know over the years we've had issues with the staining, and we've talked to many different companies about that. It goes right back to, the watering situation there. We spend a ton of money on water every year to water. We could go back to the well. Originally, the issues with that was they said that was causing the staining of the slates, and that's not what causes that. According to the companies that sell the slates, it's the sand. It's the minerals that's in the sand that causes that to discolor. And even if we put a water system on it to make it, good water, we could water more for way less. That cemetery gets the most view of any of our cemeteries. It's right there in town. I worked in there for 18 years, and there are people there all day, every day, every day. There's other cemeteries that we have that you very seldom see anyone in. So it's right there in town. It's right in the public, and we've had these issues for a while. So some of this stuff we could address, and the watering for sure. If we'd go back to the well, there's a well. There's nothing wrong with the well. Just put a system on it and keep the grass looking pretty and green. I mean, I get it. You want it to look nice. But there are some things we need to address there, yes, sir. But we could look at some sort of, fencing that would look really nice there.
So we're responsible to spray clean and?
Well, it's a fence, Mr. Harris. It goes into there. It's a real nice fence going in, and yes, sir, we
Okay,
clean that.
once you get to the graveside, what's our responsibility?
Once they put the coping around that, according to the county ordinances, once the coping goes around that lot, we are not allowed in that lot.
Okay, so the weeds can grow sky high?
They do, and we mark those lots. After we mark them, we leave them. It's supposed to be 30 days. We usually leave it 90 days. We would leave it, come back. I'd leave a business card on it, Alan's doing that now, the same thing, we'd get a call. A lot of times the problem is families put that coping on there, then there's no one left in the family. You know, over the years. And
Moved or something.
well, within the ordinance, and once again, within the ordinance, there is an issue, a part of that ordinance where you can go out and remove that. But as long as it's on there, we can't go in there.
And you can't just leave the weeds growing either.
No, sure, it looks bad. We honestly, we have guys go in there periodically. Just clean it on your way by. It looks bad. And then, you know, a lot of the problems over there, the headstones that are settling in the front, which is a flat section, and they'll settle 6-8 inches, and the family can't find them. We have to go in there and dig them out every year. But
It's just that muck giving way.
it is. It is. And where they've
Whole
been
lake
set too
bottom.
early.
Yeah.
You know, we tell people wait a year. They set a headstone in 6 months, and it's going to lean. So it's just part of it. But
And we send inmates out there now and they dig around those, what he's talking about, where
Right.
they've recessed down in the ground, and we do that periodically now so that if not, the grass will go right over the top of it and you can't find it. So we've been doing that, using inmate labor for them to dig out, around those sites. It's right there in front.
well, you're on a good point there. We need
I would like to
really
see
work on
that, maybe without those cedar trees. Let's just look at it without trees.
Yeah.
Never had trees for the longest time, and then somebody donated those trees
That was a
20
Kelly
years
Foundation,
ago.
wasn't it?
Honestly, don't know.
Let's just look at it without it. We could mow it, keep it nice and clean, and then we can decide.
Yes, sir.
Pretty sure the Kelly Foundation donated all the trees. They donated the palm trees and quite a few other trees in there, so we'd have to really make sure that we don't have to put something back there per that agreement that we have with them, so we need to make sure on that.
I believe you're gonna have to put something back because the land that we are not responsible for is still gonna have that view coming off the highway, so it's gonna have to be something there.
Get that well going and make it pretty and green, everybody
Mow
like
it,
to see
keep it
anyhow.
mowed, keep the
Yeah.
ditch mowed.
The grass is, you know, it's hard to keep it.
Yeah.
And if you guys will blow your mind if you just take a few minutes and look what we spend on water there. It would really blow your mind, just
And it's
keep the
still
grass
not
green.
enough, in my opinion.
Right, it's not enough. We can't water enough there, you're right. But if we put a well in, then we're good to go, so.
So what, you know,
Sir?
no well?
There is a well there, but quite a few years back, they were taking off the well and put on city water.
Because of the
Because of the
comments
staining.
made about it was staining, I guess it was, you think that iron and whatnot, and what he just said was actually the minerals.
Water for nothing.
We just need to move on with that.
You could put a well in and get your money back quick.
We have a well, there's a well there, we just need to, we've had a well drilling company look at that, but it'd be as simple as putting a water system on it. With the water system and the well, if we put a new well and a water system on it, would cost less than what we spend a year in water,
Well, let's do it.
so. On my side of the, I'm sorry.
I'm done,
Commissioner,
boss. Yes,
On my
sir.
side of it, I just, you know, going forward, like we've all been talking about, I'm still getting a lot of calls, you know, about debris and different things, but, the reason I'm putting that out there is if we're getting prepared now for the next season, it's right around the corner. So we really need to start looking, like you've said, you know, many times, we don't need to wait until the last minute, so. And I know Shane and quite a few are, but, we're still addressing issues, you know, with ditches that, by the time you guys know, they're still full of water in some areas, and we just shouldn't be full of water now, and we're working on all that, so. I just like to keep moving forward on that, making sure that we are not waiting till the last minute and getting caught with a suntan.
Just to clarify, you're getting calls about debris. People still have debris that haven't been
Yes,
picked
sir.
up?
They're still putting
I
it
had
out.
some today, they're still putting it out. I had some today in 14 Acres, and they said it was been out there for months. I'm going tomorrow to look at it. I couldn't get there today, but they said it's been there for months, and then part of it was on their property, and which I explained, we're not coming on your property to get it, but I need to look at it tomorrow to see, you know, but yes, sir, I'm still getting calls about that in
Great day.
areas.
Had you spoke with Shane already?
I know, ma'am, I haven't. He's on vacation. I'm not gonna bug him about debris till he gets back.
That,
That's the last thing he needs to hear about right now. He's on vacation, so.
Chat with Tommy, he's got a map that they went down every road.
I like picking on Tommy, so I'll give him a call.
He likes that.
Does anybody have anything else?
No, sir.
Anyone in the public? Meeting adjourned.